Hi, Ms. Thomas. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well also. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. You've been charged in case 22 CR 0000255E with fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer, possession of an open alcohol container, and expired or no license on your person. Afternoon, Mr. Howard. Is there a history?
I'm not sure. He wasn't on my pull sheet.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Mitchell. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm good. How are you, Your Honor?
I'm doing well. Are you all going to offer a signature bond on this?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So on August 2nd of 2021 at location 2880 Sullivan Road, Atlanta, Georgia, defendant was stopped at a traffic stop with emergency lights and sirens were active when defendant took off. The defendant possessed an open alcoholic beverage container with liquor inside, a Quick Trip cup. The defendant was driving a U-Haul vehicle with no license on his person, possibly related to a theft. This case is also possibly related to a theft report that occurred that day with matching descriptions on the vehicle, defendant, and theft of 3 packs of beer from a store. The state's bond recommendation is going to be, as to count 1, a $3,000 surety bond, count 2, $1,000 surety, count 3, $1,000 surety, no driving, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Our recommendation is based on the extensive criminal history of the defendant. He has 65 cycles in Georgia, and more than I can count probation violations and FTAs. And nothing further, Your Honor.
Tell me again, I'm sorry, what was the fleeing?
The fleeing, that's count 1, $3,000 surety. And then
No, I mean, what was the, how did he flee?
When the officers try to attempt the traffic stop, they activated their emergency lights and sirens, and that's when he took off at a high speed.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you. Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to be asking for a signature bond. I believe that this may be a Riverside issue. Mr. Brown has been in custody since August of 2021. This case was originally filed on August 9th of 2021, but he never was brought before a judge until today. So I am asking for a signature bond on his behalf. He is a Georgia native. He's 36 years old. He does have family here residing in Georgia. He lives in the Atlanta area. Mr. Brown completed his GED, but Mr. Brown is unemployed right now. But again, Your Honor, I am asking for a signature bond on these charges. In the alternative, even though I believe this is a Riverside issue, a bond no more than $1,000.
Was he in on anything else, Ms. Thomas? Is he being held on something?
It's my understanding that Mr. Brown is currently in the RSAT program, and he is going to be in that program for the next 6 to 9 months.
Anything further, Ms. Mitchell?
No, Your Honor.
For the fleeing or attempting to elude, a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. For the possession of open alcohol container, $500 signature bond through the jail. For the expired or no license, a $500 signature bond through the jail, making for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Courtroom 2, before we go on, I noticed that Ms. Jenks has a client who she's going to need to speak with the interpreter. So just want to make you all aware of that. It's Mr. Soto, who's position number 15.
Your Honor, you just read my mind. I was about to make a quick announcement on that. Deputy Francois, she's on her way to courtroom 3. When she logs on, you can put Ms. James courtroom 3 and the Spanish interpreter into a breakout room. And I have all Ms. Thomas's cases lined up and ready to go.
Okay, fantastic. We really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Judge.
All
Not a
right,
problem.
you're welcome. Who do we have next?
We have position number 2, Mr. Colbert.
Good afternoon, Mr. Colbert. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? You're on mute, courtroom 2.
Good afternoon, Judge. Can you repeat that question again?
Sure. We're doing this by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Colbert, you've been charged in case 22 CR 000250G with criminal trespass and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
4 total. April 19th, 2021. He was arrested for AMC charge. April 18th, suspended license. 2018 in South Carolina, disrupting schools, assault and battery 3rd degree. Those were convictions.
Thank you. Afternoon, Ms. Arnold. Is this your case?
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. The state is requesting a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 surety for count 1 for the criminal trespass, and a $1,000 surety for count 2 for the willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. We're also asking that there be a stay away from the 6185 Mozart Drive in South Fulton, that there be no further contact with Iris Colvert, Iris spelled IRIS, Colvert, COLVARD, and no further contact with Officer Jay Hardy, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Your Honor, this incident happened just yesterday at that Mozart Drive location. Here, Ms. Colvert stated that the defendant overheard her on the phone talking about his son, which upset him, and he began yelling, "Don't talk about my son," and other insults towards her. He got so upset that he ended up punching a hole in the wall, which is what prompted Ms. Colvert to call the police, simply because she just wanted him out of her home. Ms. Colvert informed officers that she had already reached out to his sister to come and pick him up. And when Ms. Colvert tried to give the officer the phone to speak with his sister to confirm that she was arriving, the defendant tried to take the phone from the officer's hand. And at that point, he was standing in the doorway of the defendant's bedroom, and the defendant afterwards then tried to close the door on the officer. When the officer asked the defendant to step back, he did not comply and was detained at that time. Even after all of that, when the sister arrived, Officer Hardy was willing to release the defendant to his sister as long as he agreed to leave the residence for the night. However, the defendant went ahead and went back inside to gather belongings and started arguing with his sister as well. So at this point, Officer Hardy informed the defendant that he no longer felt comfortable leaving him in the care of his sister. And he requested 4 times, Your Honor, that the defendant please just leave the location. But he refused and stepped towards the officer saying, "Who the F you talking to?" The defendant had consumed alcohol before the incident. And while Officer Hardy attempted to detain him, he also tried to grab the handcuffs from him. So at that point, because he was a little unstable, Officer Hardy was able to get him on the ground and detain him. We do believe that the defendant will reoffend based on the fact that he has an assault and battery conviction from 2018, and also based on the facts of the case where he punched a hole in the wall and repeatedly ignored the officer's commands. For these reasons, Your Honor, we are requesting that $2,000 surety bond with the conditions as stated.
Thank you, Ms. Arnold. Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Colbert is 29 years of age, Georgia native, born and raised here. His family resides here. He's also the proud father of one son who is 5 years old. He's also gainfully employed at the Red Pepper Restaurant in Dunwoody, where he is a bartender, and he's been working there for several months. I did also get a chance to speak with Miss Kovar, his mother, who did express to me that she does love her son. She does wish to have contact with him. However, she does believe that it is time for them to part ways as far as their living arrangements, but she is allowing him to return back to the location to retrieve any personal belongings. So we are unopposed to the stay away. We just ask for that one-time escort so that he can get his remaining stuff. He did express he does have an alternative address in which he'll be able to reside, but we are asking for no further violent contact with his mother. Again, unopposed to the stay away. And I'm also asking for a signature bond on his behalf. But if Mr. Kovar is not eligible for a signature bond, then I am asking for a bond amount no more than $1,500, Your Honor.
Anything further, Ms. Arnold?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, $1,000 signature bond through the jail on both counts. So that makes it a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Iris Colbart. Stay away from 6185 Mozart Drive. Mr. Colbart can go back to that location on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he may have there. No drugs, no alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Colbart.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I put a message in the chat to everyone.
Okay.
We got position number 8, Mr. Jasper, position number 8.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jasper. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Jasper. You've been charged in case 22 CR 0000248A with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
31 total. The majority of it come out of the state of Florida. Last arrest was 2018, suspended license, no load. 2018, driving without a valid license. 2018, failure to appear out of Snellville. It's come off of a 2017, driving without a valid license, no load. Last arrest in Florida was 2010, probation violation for traffic. 2010, suspended license. 2009, suspended license. Possession of marijuana, obstruction without violence, and I see a battery on law enforcement officer. I didn't see a disposition for the battery. You want more or that's enough?
What did you say about the battery?
I didn't see the disposition for that one. I see a 07 battery. And that was a conviction. That was a felony too.
All right, thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe this defendant is also position 7, but I'll go ahead and address the facts for the simple battery.
Okay, you're right, Ms. Mitchell. Let me address that with Mr. Jasper. I didn't see it's position 7 and position 8. Position 7, Mr. Jasper, is 22 CR 0000247A, failure to maintain lane and driving while license suspended or revoked. Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. You can go forward.
So for the simple battery family violence on August 9th, 2021 at 819 Olmsted, spelled Olmstead Lane, Johns Creek Road, the defendant battered his stepchild, Jaron, spelled Gerron, Bush, while engaged in a verbal dispute. On January 18th of 2022 at Medlock Bridge Parkway, Johns Creek, Georgia, defendant was cited for failure to maintain lane, driving while license suspended, and was arrested on his warrant for the simple battery against his stepchild. The state's bond recommendation as to The simple battery is going to be a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with victim Jaron Bush. Stay away from address 819 Olmsted Lane, a one-day anger awareness course, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. The bond recommendation as to the failure to maintain lane and driving with license suspended is going to be a 5,000 surety, as to count one, $5,000 surety, and as to count two, $5,000 surety. Here, the basis of the state's recommendation is going to be the defendant is a high risk of reoffending. He has driving with a suspended license, 2 convictions, and without a valid license, 1 conviction and 1 charge. He has 4 failure to appears and 1 probation violation. So we are also concerned that defendant might be a flight risk. And again, just to reiterate, he does have 26 cycles in Florida and 5 in Georgia as pretrial stated. The battery was against a firefighter officer in 2007 in Florida. Nothing further, Your Honor.
The failure to maintain lane, was an accident involved in that matter?
No, Your Honor.
Thomas?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was wondering why that was so high. It's supposed to be $500 surety for the failure to maintain lane and a $500 surety for the license suspended. I added an extra 0. My apologies.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. I guess let me address the traffic offense case first, Your Honor. Mr. Jasper did express to me that he's paid his fines here in Georgia as far as getting his license reinstated, and that he may have an additional fine that he may still have to pay in Florida so that his driver's license situation can go ahead and be resolved. Mr. Jasper is 40 years of age. He's been a Georgia resident for 7 years. He expressed that his family does reside in Georgia. He has a wife and children. He also expressed that he is a machine operator working in Beaufort, Georgia, where he has been doing so for the past 3 years. For these traffic offenses, Your Honor, I am asking for a signature bond on Mr. Jasper's behalf. And if he's not eligible for a signature bond, I am asking for a bond amount no more than $1,000 in total. And as far as the family violence case, Your Honor, Mr. Jasper did express to me that he and Mr. Bush have a good relationship. They no longer live together. That 819 Olmsted address is Mr. Jasper's residence, and Mr. Bush does not live there. He is with Mr. Bush's mother. Let's see. He expressed there's been no other incident, so we don't feel that there's any risk of intimidation or anything of that concern. So we are asking for a signature bond on that case as well, Your Honor, for him to return back to his residence and no further violent contact between he and Mr. Bush.
How old is Mr. Bush?
Mr. Jasper, how old is Mr. Bush? Can you answer that one question?
17,
17.
and that's not her son at all.
All right, and he doesn't live in the household?
No, he doesn't. He never lived there. He was just visiting.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anything further, Ms. Mitchell?
No, Your Honor.
So for the traffic offenses, it's going to be a $500 signature bond through the jail each. So a total of $1,000 signature bond through the jail. For the simple battery, a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Jaron Bush. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Jasper.
All right, thank you.
Now you got position number 12, Mr. McClellan.
And this is Ms. Jinks' case, Your Honor.
Okay. Afternoon, Ms. Jenks.
Hey, Judge, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
It's good.
And this is Mr. McClellan.
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 22 CR 0000262Y with simple battery. So history, Mr. Howard?
12 total. Last arrest was 2019 for DUI. That was a conviction. Before that was 2019 probation violation. 2019 suspended license. 2018 DUI. 2013 failure to appear, not prosecuted. 2013 probation violation. 2011 hit and run probation violation. Got 2010 hindering person from making 911 calls and battery. Those were convictions. 2009 cruelty in the third. That was a conviction. The battery DV, one of them anyway, was dismissed. One of them was a conviction. And he also has out of state history. That's awesome. Yeah, from Alabama. Last arrest was 07. Vehicle theft. That's it.
Who's presenting for the state?
Your Honor, I'm sorry, my internet was lagging. Can I get the defendant's name one more time?
Yeah, it's position 12. Mr. McClellan.
Oh, yes, that's my case, Your Honor.
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Wood.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. The state, this incident actually arises from a case that took place on January the 18th at 509 Rosemont, that is ROSEMONT Parkway. This incident took place around 10:57 p.m. where Roswell PD responded to a dispute call between the defendant and his roommate. And upon arrival, the officers made contact with the defendant, who informed the officers that he was bleeding from his head. The officers did expect his injuries, and he had several lacerations on the top of his head, but he also had a strong odor of alcohol coming from his person. The defendant told the officers that he was attacked by his roommate, Mr. Kevin. I don't know if it's Dolger or Dolger. It's spelled Delozier. The two were disputing over rent payments, and some additional arguments had took place throughout the day and earlier in the evening. At some point, the two were sitting on the couch, and the roommate stood up from the couch, and the defendant jumped on the roommate's back and placed him in a headlock. In self-defense, Mr. Dolger, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing your name if you're on the call, threw the defendant to the ground and punched him in the head, causing the laceration and the bleeding. And after the altercation, in self-defense, Your Honor, medical was called out to the scene to treat the defendant for those injuries. Your Honor, we are suggesting a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, a stay away from 509 Rosemont Parkway, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Your Honor, we are making this recommendation because we do believe that the defendant is a flight risk, as he does have those FTAs from Cobb and probation violations, also a risk of reoffending. He does have those previous convictions for battery and simple battery from Cobb from 2009 and 2010. And we're concerned that the ongoing roommate issues will not be resolved in a nonviolent manner, and the defendant will reoffend the roommate if they continue to have those disputes, which can lead to someone getting seriously injured, which happened in this case to the defendant. And we're also concerned, of course, with Mr. Dolger's safety, considering that he felt the need to defend himself in that instance.
Have you spoken to the alleged victim?
Your Honor, our office did attempt to make contact, and we were not able to make contact with Mr. Kevin today.
Thank you. Ms. James?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. McClellan has finished high school. He got his GED. He is originally from Alabama, but has lived in Atlanta for the last 10 years, Judge. He works more than full-time for a landscaping company called Lawn South, and has a 17-year-old daughter. He does have ties to the community. He's got family. His aunt lives here in Marietta. We're asking Your Honor to consider a signature bond. If you heard what the state said, actually it was Mr. McClellan that called the police and also suffered several severe lacerations and bleeding from those lacerations when the police actually came to this apartment. It is my understanding there was some dispute about rent, but my client maintains that he was actually acting in self-defense. So this is either, maybe it's a mutual combatant case. However, it was my client that actually called the police to try to get help to the scene. Mr. McClellan is able to live with his aunt in Marietta. I have that address. So if your honor does end up issuing a stay away order, that would be fine. He's got some place to live. But we are asking you to consider a signature bond in this case, Judge.
Okay, $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Kevin Dozier. Stay away from the 509 Rosemont Parkway address. Mr. McClellan can go back to that address on one occasion, accompanied by law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he may have there. No drugs, no alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck.
Thank you,
to
Judge.
You're welcome.
We have to go to position 19, Your Honor.
Okay.
MH. Come on, Mr. Williams, Tyree.
It's my understanding that a breakout room has been requested for Mr. Williams. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is this your case, Ms. Jenks?
Yes, Judge.
And Ms. Lewis, if you can put us in a breakout room with Mr. Walker, Ms. Mitchell, and Ms. Jenks, I'd appreciate it. Afternoon, Mr. Walker.
Judge, you're muted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We've had a discussion regarding Mr. Williams. The bond is going to be $1,000 good bond on each charge, which makes for a total of a $4,000 good bond. I request that a social worker go and visit Mr. Williams at the jail. He's going to be reset for the state all-purpose calendar on February 1st, and he's to have no further contact with Paris, Morris, or C. Morris, with drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Excuse me, Judge Morrow.
Yes, sir.
I was employed at Seven Sisters on Johns Creek here.
Okay.
I was trying to communicate with you, see if I can we can do something, work with me and do something better than that, where I can get out and serve the community, help the community.
Okay, Mr. Williams, let me just say you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. I understand your request. Ms. Jinks or someone from her office will be in touch with you and they can discuss your concerns with you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Judge
All
Morrow.
right.
Okay, get
And
your
I'll see you in 2 weeks, Mr. Williams.
So I'll be have to be in jail for. I'll come back. Do I get out today and come back in 2 weeks, or what's going on?
Well, a bond has been set for you, so if you can make that bond, then you'll be able to get out. If you can't make that bond, then I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Are you familiar with my mom, Deborah Woods, and my father, as Mendez Williams?
No, sir, I'm not.
So how much would I have to pay back exactly to get out today?
I'll let you can discuss those issues with Ms. Jinks or someone from her office, okay? Someone will be in touch with you, Mr. Williams, okay? And they'll answer your questions for you.
Come on, Williams.
Come on, Will.
Y'all, do you guys have a basketball?
Honor, you're gonna have to give me 1 second.
Which Williams is this, Judge? Is this Tyree?
Yeah, it's position 19.
Yeah, we got position number 4, Mr. Dax Griffin.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Griffin. Again, I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation counter that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you.
Your Honor, this is Mike O'Hagan. I'm here on behalf of the defendant here.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. O'Hagan.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I just got picked up about an hour and a half ago.
Okay, no worries. Thank you for letting me know that you're representing Mr. Griffin. Mr. Griffin, you've been charged in case 22 CR 000246G with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
This is second. 2016, inflict corporal injury on spouse or cohabitant. This is out of California.
No disposition.
No.
All right. Ms. Arnold?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is recommending a $2,000 surety bond for the simple battery family violence. We're also asking that there be no further contact with Don Kraus. Don spelled D-A-W-N, last name spelled C-R-O-U-S-E. That there be a stay away from 2310 Commerce Street in Alpharetta, a one-day anger awareness course, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Your Honor, this incident happened yesterday evening at the Commerce Street location. The defendant and Ms. Kraus were walking home from a restaurant when they got into an argument. The defendant escalated things by throwing a box of their leftover food at Ms. Kraus, and in return, she struck him in the mouth. An anonymous witness, however, advised officers that they saw the defendant use his right shoulder to shove Ms. Kraus into a building pillar. So based on the facts of this case, Your Honor, where the defendant threw that box of leftovers at Ms. Kraus and then shoved her into a pillar, as well as the arrest out of California for inflicting injury on a spouse, we are requesting that $2,000 surety with the conditions as stated.
Who is Ms. Kraus to Mr. Griffin?
Girlfriend, Judge.
Okay, do they live together?
They do, and I spoke with her. I can maybe get her on this link, but I spoke to her shortly after I was contacted by a mutual friend. She indicated that she's got no fear of him and is okay with him coming back to their house.
Okay.
But I can try to get her on so you can hear it from her if you'd like.
Mr. Hagan, you're an officer of the court, and if you tell me that you've spoken with her, then I'll take you at your word on that, okay?
Thank you, Judge. The other terms, 2,000, we'd like a signature bond on that. As far as anger management, that's fine. No objections to that.
All right, anything further, Ms. Arnold?
No, Your Honor.
All right, it's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness class, no further violent contact with Don Kraus, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, Mr. Griffin, good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, that's the only thing I had on today. Can I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon. Thank you, Mr.
You too.
Hagan.
Thank you, sir.
Who's next?
We got position number 5, Mr. Harris. Position number 5.
Good afternoon, Mr. Harris. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are holding by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I didn't hear you. Thank you, Mr. Harris. You've been charged in case 2022 CR 000259B with criminal trespass and theft by taking a misdemeanor. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
15 total. Last arrest was February 2021. Probation violation. Got an open simple battery in a public transit vehicle or station. That's 19 CR 008020B. Has an open case in Superior Court 20 CP 189858. That's simple battery against police or detention officer. Felony obstruction. Also has an open case for possession of cocaine with intent, crossing guard lines, with drugs or weapons, tampering with evidence, pedestrian in the roadway. It's 20 CP 1944483. He had an August 2020 arrest, probation violation for battery, family violence, theft by taking. 2020 terrorist threats, obstruction, trespass, possession of a Schedule 4 controlled substance, drugs not in the original container, possession of crack cocaine. 28.
Thank you. That's good. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Webb?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident stems from a larceny call yesterday that the Atlanta Police Department responded to. Upon arrival, they were met with a Miss Shamika Thurman, who is the property manager at the Remington Retirement Living Homes located at 954 Hightower Road, Your Honor, in Atlanta. And Ms. Thurman informed the officer that she had video footage of the defendant stealing a grill from the property. She watched the defendant break the grill and took it off the property and showed that video and footage to the police officer. While canvassing the neighborhood, the officer saw some smoke coming from an alleyway and saw the defendant standing next to the grill, made the arrest and returned the grill back to Ms. Thurman. The defendant's bond is currently preset at $500 surety for the trespass and $1,000 for the theft by taking, but the state is asking for $1,000 surety per count, a stay away from the incident location at 954 Hightower Road, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Your Honor, we're making this recommendation because the defendant had just received notice on January 6th of this year to not return to that property, and that warning was issued by APD Officer Grant. The defendant does have those previous histories for theft offenses and the previous robbery from the 2008, but that was a no bill, Your Honor. And additionally, he has those shoplifting convictions out of Dunwoody from 2009. So considering the facts, we do believe that he has a high risk of reoffending, and the fact that he had just received a do not return notice and came back within 2 weeks, Your Honor, we are also concerned for the safety of that community.
Thank you, Ms. Webb. Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Harris is 30 years of age. He's a Georgia resident, born and raised here. He does have some family living in Georgia as well. He did express to me, however, that he does not have the ability to make any bond amount. He doesn't have any family or friends who will be able to assist with bonds. He expressed that he had been homeless for about a few years, but he does have a friend that does allow him to use their resident address. And he does have a telephone number in which we will be able to keep in contact with him. And he knows how to keep in contact with us as far as his next court date, Your Honor. Mr. Harris also expressed that he is suffering from a foot infection and that he hasn't been able to receive the medications that is necessary for him to get his foot better and that it is swollen currently. He also expressed that he was just gainfully accepted with the workforce program and he was supposed to start work this week. They also and he's going to start work as a sanitation worker. And they're also helping him with his education and his own personal housing. Given Mr. Harris' limited finances, I am requesting a signature bond on his behalf. And if he's ineligible for a signature bond, I am asking for the current bond that's set at $1,500 to be reduced to no more than $500.
Mr. Morrow, I asked for the degree of-
Mr. Harris, so I'm going to ask you to remain silent because anything that you wish to say or want to say will be used against you. Please let the judge make his ruling. And then if you have any questions or concerns, we can get in contact after court is over with.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. I'm going to leave the bond where it is, $500 for the criminal trespass, $1,000 for the theft by taking. Stay away from the Hightower Road address, no further contact with Ms. Thurman, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Harris.
No
Thank you.
signature bond?
No, Mr. Harris, so your bond is going to remain as set and it can be revisited like we discussed.
Yeah. Do I got another court date?
Yes, your next court date will be February 1st. Thank you.
Well, position number 11, Mr. Matthews.
Good afternoon, Mr. Matthews. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are holding by video to prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Matthews, you've been charged in case 22 CR 000260E with fear evasion and carrying a weapon without a valid license. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total. 2018 obstruction, bound over. Disorderly conduct conviction, 2 counts from 2017. 2017 marijuana conviction, misdemeanor. 2017 obstruction conviction. 2016 theft by taking arrest.
Ms. Webb?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place on yesterday around 2 p.m. at the College Park train station located at 3800 East Main Street, College Park, Georgia. The defendant was arrested by MARTA PD for gaining entry into the station without paying the required fare fees. And while conducting their investigation, the responding police officer did locate a loaded Glock 44 on the defendant's person. And the defendant does not have a license to carry a firearm in the state of Georgia, Your Honor. For those reasons, the state is requesting an increase in the preset bond. The preset bond is $300 surety on the fare evasion, but we're asking for a $500 surety on the fare evasion. And it's a $1,000 surety on the carrying charge, but we're asking for a $2,000 surety on the carrying charge. Stay away from all modern property and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We are making this recommendation based on the defendant's criminal history, and we do believe that he's a risk of reoffending, Your Honor, and also a threat to the community.
Ms. Jenks?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Matthews graduated high school. He went all the way through the 12th grade. He also did several months at the Aviation and Maintenance for Aircraft Design Technical School. He does have one child that he helps to support. She's a year and a half 1.5 years old. He does live with his mom, Adrienne Johnson, judge, and helps take care of her. His mother is disabled because of multiple sclerosis. So he helps, do her with her he helps her with her daily tasks of taking care of herself and also with administering medication. He also has 2 younger brothers in the household that he helps to take care of. We are asking you to consider a signature bond. It sounds like most of his prior criminal history are low-level misdemeanors. He stated to me that he was in the process of, that he had applied to get a permit for the weapon, but because of COVID, it had not come through yet, is what his understanding was. He does work, Judge. He works at a Cisco warehouse, and he's been working there for about the past 4 to 6 weeks. So we're asking, Your Honor, he does have significant ties to the community. We're asking you to consider a signature bond in this case. And if Your Honor is inclined to, maybe a greater level through pretrial.
Okay, pretrial won't accept him. Ms. Jenks, how old is he?
He is 22 years old, Judge.
Does he have a
Pretrial won't accept him even with your.
Oh, they
system?
will. I could send him through pretrial, yes, if I, but I'm just saying he wasn't recommended by pretrial. Does he have a need to be on MARTA?
I didn't ask him that specific question, but I'm guessing if you have a stay away order in place, he will have to make other arrangements through Uber or Lyft.
Would you mind inquiring of him if?
Sure. Mr. Matthews, do you need to take MARTA for your job?
No, ma'am, I actually take Lyft to work.
Okay.
And he understands that he's going to have to do something with that weapon if he still has it, right?
Yes, Judge, I'm guessing that it was confiscated.
So for the fair evasion, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. For the carrying a weapon without a license, a $1,000 signature bond through the jail, a total of $1,300 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from MARTA, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
And Judge, I just want to make sure I wrote down correctly. You said a $300 signature bond through the jail?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, yes, it's a $300 signature bond through the jail for the fair evasion and a $1,000 signature bond through the jail for the weapon charge.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck, Mr. Matthews.
Thank you. Next, we got position number 18, Mr. Michael Williams.
Who's presenting? Ms. Mitchell? Are you all off in a signature bond on this?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Williams, good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Williams, you've been charged in case 22 CR 000249B with failure to obey a stop sign and driving while your license was suspended or revoked. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
28 between Georgia and Alabama. Last arrest was in April 2020 for DUI. He's on probation in Rockdale County for theft by taking, identity theft fraud. In November, they gave him 10 years probation for that. What we got? They came off of a 2019 arrest. Got a 2017 probation violation. Underlying charge was habitual violator. 2016 suspended license. 2016 DUI. It was admitted to reckless conduct conviction. Got failure to appear from 2014 for theft by taking. Forgery in the first. 4 count. 2013 driving without a valid license conviction. 2013 suspended license. 2013 probation violation for no driver's license. You want more?
That's fine, Mr. Howard, thank you. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor. So in the police report, it states on July 17th of 2021, at incident location 77 12th Street, Atlanta, Georgia, the defendant was driving a teal blue Jeep Wrangler. The defendant was seen at a four-way stop at intersection between 12th Street and Crescent Avenue. The defendant ran the stop sign without any attempt at stopping. At the time of the incident, defendant had a suspended license as of September 12th, 2020. The defendant also had a warrant out of Rockdale County for failure to appear on forgery first degree and traffic charges out of Sparks, Georgia. And I believe the warrant on Sparks, Georgia is still out. And this entire incident was captured and saved on the city-owned cameras in Midtown area. The state's bond recommendation here is going to be, as to count one, a $500 surety, count two, $4,500 surety, so totaling $5,000 surety. No driving and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. The state's concerns here is that the defendant is a high risk of reoffending. He is a multi-state offender, as pretrials already stated, discussing his conviction charges on fraud, theft, driving with suspended license, and without a valid license. He actually has, I believe, 7 driving with suspended license charges and convictions, and driving without a valid license. He also has an extensive driving history. He has 84 citations and suspensions. Defendant is also a very high risk of, defendant is a high flight risk. He has 7 failure to appears for probation violations and multiple failure to appears on his driving history. So that's going to be the basis of our recommendation, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. Ms. Jenks?
Thank you, Judge. The one salient point I wanted to make you aware of, Your Honor, in terms of the arrest affidavit is I believe that this allegation stemmed from footage from the City of Atlanta video integration camera. So I think it was something that was allegedly picked up through their cameras, not an officer on foot or in a car. Mr. Williams maintains that he actually was not driving on the date of the incident. This is, again, from July 17th, 2021. Your Honor, we're asking you to consider a signature bond. It doesn't sound like he has any violent charges in his history. Clearly, he should not be driving if he doesn't have a valid license. At the time, or right now, he stated that his license is reinstated as of August 2021. So we're asking you to consider a signature bond. He does have a degree and master's in business. He's self-employed and runs a business with party planning. He's got 1 child, a son who's 5 years old, and helps to support him financially. So for those reasons, Judge, we are asking you to consider a signature bond in this case.
Thank you, Ms. Jenks. Anything further, Ms. Mitchell?
No, Your Honor.
$500 signature bond for the failure to obey a stop sign through the jail, $1,000 signature bond for the suspended license through the jail, no driving without a valid license, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Williams.
Your Honor, we have position number 13, Mr. Mott, Kevin Mott.
Judge, before we get into Mr. Mott's case, and I did speak to him, I wasn't clear on the procedural position of his case. Can you help me out there? I thought he had already been through first appearance on this
Right.
case.
That's why I also saw, sorry, Ms. Jinx. I also was going to ask that question. It appears that he was reset to SAP, and this case has already been heard, and he already has a bond on these 2 charges.
So he needs to be reset to the SAP calendar? Is that
Well, that's what it shows in Odyssey, that he was already reset to SAP. So I'm not sure why he was on this calendar.
Ms. Bridgewater, anything? Okay, we'll reset them for the SAP calendar if needed. Let's go to someone else while Ms. Bridgewater checks into it for us.
Thank you, Judge.
We're gonna go to position 14, Mr. Martin Reyes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rios. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Did you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You'll have to speak up for me, Mr. Rios.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. You've been charged in case 22 CR 000257F with criminal trespass and obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I got first adult arrest.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Anderson. How are you?
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. Glad to see you. We're here on 2 charges today, and the state is requesting a $500 surety bond on count 1. That's the criminal trespass charge, and a $500 surety bond on count 2, the obstruction of a law enforcement officer, for a total of a $1,000 surety bond with the condition that the defendant stay away from the Salvation Army. And the address to the Salvation Army is 469 Marietta Street, Atlanta. We also ask that no drugs, alcohol, or weapons be on the person of the defendant while he's on bond. What happened here was early yesterday morning, the defendant was at the Salvation Army at 469 Marietta Street, and he was being belligerent, irate, combative with the staff, and was asked to leave. Even after being discharged, he still refused to leave. When the officers arrived, the defendant was still irate and punching a locker, refusing to leave. When the officers attempted to escort him out, he began actively resisting, yanking away from the officers, and took off running down a flight of stairs. At this point, he was actively resisting arrest. At one point, the defendant was able to get one of the officers off of their feet. The officers did call for backup and was finally able to place the defendant under arrest after using pepper spray. Really, the real concern we have of reoffense here, Your Honor, is that he's a young man. He's 18 years old, and we do have a Stone Mountain address, but it seems that maybe he could be without a home. As pretrial mentioned to you, there was a juvenile arrest in 2016, and that was for a battery on a teacher or school personnel. But for all these reasons, Your Honor, we're requesting the $1,000 total surety bond and the other conditions.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Ms. Jenks?
Judge, we're asking you to consider a signature bond through the jail. As you heard from pretrial, it's his first arrest. Unfortunately, Mr. Reyes was actually living at the Salvation Army, and I don't know if you're aware, Judge, they actually have a morning time at 7:30 in the morning where everyone is kind of, needs to be out of their, out of their hall there. I guess he had actually overslept, and so they were talking to him about, leaving the premises. I don't actually believe there was any kind of trespass order in place, and I don't think there was even a verbal trespass warning, according to this narrative on the arrest affidavit. I know that it is their policy to go ahead and have everyone leave by a certain time in the morning. So we're asking Your Honor to consider a signature bond through the jail and have this case, reset in due course.
Your Honor, before you rule, may I be heard?
Sure. I just have a couple questions of Ms. Jenks, and then I'll
Okay.
back to Ms. Anderson.
Thank you.
Ms. Jenks says, if you can't go back to the Salvation Army, where is he going to go, and how are we going to make sure that we keep up with them? And do you think that a social worker would be helpful to?
I can definitely provide in the chat the number to our office and try to connect them to our social worker for further resources, Judge. I know that there are other churches and other, facilities out there where people can stay if need be. I'm not really sure where his next, where he would be staying, but again, he would understand that he needs to check with the clerk's office to find out if there's an upcoming court date and make sure that he's there for that court date, if you're inclined to give him a signature bond through the jail.
All right, thank you. Ms. Anderson?
Your Honor, we were thinking, the state's thinking along the same lines as you, with him being so young and not having much of a record, it's not that we want to recreate that or, we want to help him. So we're wondering, Your Honor, if the court has any ideas on what we can do to provide him a little bit more assistance.
And Judge, if I may just respond, I don't believe that there's any more assistance or any more safety or stability in the Fulton County Jail, especially with current COVID counts. We can definitely help support him and, like I said, give him our contact information so we can have him work with one of our social workers. But we don't believe in the circumstance that he should be held in jail just based on what the state just said to you.
Your Honor, that wasn't our position that he be held in jail. Our position is that we offer him real help, Your Honor.
I understand, Ms. Anderson, and I appreciate that. He's such a young man. He appears to not have stable housing at the present time. I'm more concerned that he won't get notice and he'll just not come back to court, and then he'll be stuck in jail at that point in time. But I'm going to, since he's so young, I'm going to give him the opportunity with your assistance, Ms. Jenks, if you will make sure that that he's provided with some contact information for not only your office, but for maybe some other information regarding where he can get some.
One more thing, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, our solicitor is present with us today, and he was asking if we could please reset for diversion and see if there's something we can do to help him. And he's asking if this young man is presently in school.
I don't know if he's in school or not, and I think that a diversion program would be helpful if that's something that you all would offer him down the road. So, Ms. Jenks, I'm sure that might be a good option at some point for it.
Yes, absolutely, Judge. And I'm sending my contact information to courtroom 2 if they can just write it down for him.
Okay, thank you. So it's going to be a $500 signature bond through the jail on both counts, which makes it a total of $1,000 signature bond through the jail. We're going to provide him with some information. Mr. Reyes, you understand that you cannot go back to the Salvation Army at this time because they don't want you back there right now. So make sure you don't go back there, okay?
Oh, yes. I'm getting, yes, sir.
All right, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while you're out on bond, Mr. Reyes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Reyes, make sure that you stay in touch. Don't just go missing. You know that you're going to have a court date coming up. So it's your responsibility to make sure that, if we don't have a place where we can send a notice to, that you keep in touch with the clerk's office here to find out when your next court date is going to be, okay?
Yes, sir.
And you understand what's going to happen. If you miss a court date, they're going to put out a warrant on you, and then you're going to be right back in where you are right now. You understand?
Sure.
All right, Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Judge. I got an update on the position 13 that y'all were inquiring about.
All right, hold on. Ms. Lewis, let me finish up with this case first.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go back to that, okay?
Okay.
Anything further on Mr. Reyes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No,
All right.
Judge, thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
luck.
Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, thank you, Ms. Lewis. What was your announcement? And
Position 13, this case was a bench warrant case. The bench warrant was withdrawn, and the case should have been placed back on the next SAP as corrected. He already took a plea to another case on the SAP counter on January the 18th, which was this past Tuesday, at case number 22CR000028G. So I don't know why this one was placed on this calendar at this time. It should have just been placed back on another SAP because it is a bench warrant case.
That's what we were thinking, Judge.
okay, so will the February 1st SAP calendar suffice?
If
Yes.
that's,
Is that the next available, Judge?
yeah, that's the next available calendar,
Okay.
unless we do an add-on for the following one coming up.
Oh, is it possible to do an add-on, Judge? Just because there was a clerical error?
Yeah, it's fine with me. I mean, I'll be handling that calendar myself, so I'm happy to put it on Tuesday's calendar. If you can just add it on to next Tuesday's calendar, Ms. Lewis, I'm happy to see
Okay,
it.
that'll be the 25th.
25th, yes.
Okay, it'll be an add-on.
Thank you,
All right,
Judge.
Mr. Mott, I'll see you on next Tuesday.
So Judge, are we keeping the bond amounts? What are the bond amounts?
Yeah, apparently he already has a bond set. So
Does.
we don't have to do anything with the bond. Okay, who do we have next?
Position number 20, Mr. Larry Wilson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wilson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Lewis, you've been charged in case 22 CR 000254B with simple battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
This is second arrest cycle. He's been in jail since September on a $70,000 bond. That's it.
What's
Charges?
that? Right,
What's the charges?
right.
Assault, deadly weapon, battery in a public transit vehicle or station, possession of a firearm or knife during the commission, possession of a pistol by a person under 18 years of age.
Can we have the case number for that, Judge? I wasn't aware. I just want to check an Odyssey real quick.
21 CP 203-215.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Arnold?
Yes, Your Honor. So just so Your Honor is aware, the state will be having additional charges added after this hearing today. Unfortunately, we did not get the police report in time to go ahead and file. So we will just move forward on this simple battery, but I just wanted to make Your Honor aware of that. With that said, we are requesting a $5,000 surety for this simple battery. We're asking that there be no further contact with Tatiana Mary Renee Wilson. Tatiana is spelled Totianna. Mary Rena is spelled Rena. Wilson is spelled traditionally. We're also asking for a stay away from the 375 Bellegarde Place Southeast location. Bellegarde spelled Belgarde. We're also asking for a one-day anger awareness and that there be no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Your Honor, this incident happened on June 8th, 2021 at that Bellegarde location. The defendant was in a physical altercation with his brother, Malik Wilson, which in turn woke up the victim and also the defendant's sister in this case, Ms. Tatiana Wilson, who tried to intervene and break up the fight. Ms. Wilson took the defendant into her room to try and calm him down, but he became very aggressive and started to push her around. At which point, Ms. Wilson advised that he should not put his hands on her. And at some point after, the defendant went ahead and exited the bedroom and went and continued to argue with Mr. Wilson. The defendant, however, a bit later approached Ms. Tatiana Wilson with what appeared to be a handgun and stated, "I will slap the F out of you." And then he went ahead and made good on that threat, Your Honor, and slapped Ms. Wilson on the left side of her face, all the while never letting go of that handgun. Ms. Wilson sustained a red eye as a result of the incident. Afterwards, Ms. Wilson's boyfriend, Antonio Pickett spelled Pickett, got involved, but Ms. Wilson advised that she did not want him to interfere because she did fear that the defendant might use that gun. The defendant left the location shortly after the incident, Your Honor. We do believe that this defendant will reoffend. As pretrial has already noted, he has that open case from September of last year for the aggravated assault and battery in a public transit, possession of a pistol or revolver, and possession of a firearm or knife during commission of a crime. Based on the facts of this case, Your Honor, and that open case, we also believe the defendant is a danger to the community, as he obviously has access to firearms and did not have a problem pulling it out on his sister or his family, Your Honor, And it was allegedly used during the commission of that open case as well. So for these reasons, we are requesting that $5,000 surety bond with the conditions as stated. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so if this offense date was June of last year, and then he was picked up in September, is that right?
Right, but the offense date, Judge, I mean, I'm just looking at Odyssey of the felony charge is June 23rd, 2021. It looks like.
June 23rd.
And that's what it looks like in here.
All right, so 21.
But also, Judge, when you're ready, I'd like to respond to.
Okay, I'm just trying to, I'm wondering if he was picked up in on June 23rd and he's been in jail since June 23rd, why is this just getting him now? Right?
For some reason, it was sent to the DA's office and it didn't come to the SCA. It had a DA number attached to it.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ms. Jenks?
Judge, first and foremost, I want to remind Your Honor that these are allegations, despite the, rabid way that the state recites the facts, these are allegations and he's presumed innocent, right at this very moment. So, and with that being said, in terms of the narrative related to this misdemeanor case and this alleged handgun, there was no charge related to any kind of handgun in here. And I don't see a property receipt. I do actually have the police report, the incident report, and I'm reading the narrative, but there's no attachment here of any kind of property receipt, that there was a weapon recovered at the scene of this alleged incident on Bellegarde Place, Southeast. So I just wanted to make Your Honor aware of that. We're asking for a reasonable bond, Judge. It looks like, I guess this is his first, this is a first in time charge in terms of the landscape of what's going on for him. So we're asking you to consider a signature bond. He does currently have a $70,000 good bond on this felony case.
Your Honor, if I might just add, we are aware of what the defense is saying about the gun not being received, but that was also because he had already left the location, Your Honor, before officers arrived. So we're not sure what happened with the gun between then and whenever they were able to pick him up, Your Honor. So we just want to put that on the record. Thank you.
Okay, so for this, it's going to be $1,000 good bond. Stay away from Miss Wilson. No further contact with Ms. Wilson. Stay away from the 375 Bellegarde address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. It appears that I'm going to see him back on February 1st, given that he's most likely not going to be able to make bond on that other matter. And so, Ms. Arnold, if you all are going to file additional charges, I would suggest that you do it at post haste so that all of that can be addressed in 2 weeks if necessary.
Yes, Your Honor. And I'm sorry, my internet was cutting out. Could you just say what the bond amount was again?
$1,000 good.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Who's next?
Judge, I still need to be placed in a breakout room for Mr. Soto, Your Honor.
Yeah, he's in the courtroom, Ms. Jenks. But I just want to let Judge Morrow know that Jesse Lee is in quarantine reset.
Jesse Lee is a medical reset, position 9.
Position 9.
Okay, that'll be reset for tomorrow, 1:20.
And also Vela. Position 17.
Okay. Medical reset till tomorrow.
Yeah.
20.
Your Honor, I was here for Mr. Harris.
Okay. Let's see.
And that's also Mr. Lee. His last name is actually Harris, but for whatever reason, they have him as Jesse Lee.
Jesse Lee Harris, Your Honor.
Jesse Lee Harris, okay. All right. Afternoon, Ms. McLeod. So, have you spoken with him yet?
I wasn't able to, Your Honor, because I understood he was in isolation when I called the jail.
All right. So he'll be reset until tomorrow.
Thank
because
you.
he's still in
May I
isolation.
be excused?
Yes.
He was
Have a
the
good
only person I
afternoon.
had.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a good day, Judge.
Your Honor, whenever you're ready, we have Mr. Soto to be put into a breakout room with Ms. Jinx, the interpreter.
Shannon, Judge, one other moment. Mr. Gabriel Vela, was he reset, VELA?
Yes, 17.
Okay.
Okay. And is this the last person that we have for courtroom 2?
Yes, this is the last person for courtroom 2, Your Honor.
Okay. And what about Angel Lockhart, position 10?
That's Union City.
Okay, Union City. And whose case is position 10?
Is that Miss Lockett?
Oh, yeah, Lockett.
She has a private attorney. I don't know if they're still in felony court, but his name is Jacoby Hudson. I spoke with Miss Lockett and Mr. Hudson, and I don't know if he's going to be present here or not, but he did say that Miss Lockett is going to be able to make the current bond. So I don't know if they're going to waive or what she wishes to do, but I just give that announcement.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Thomas. Okay, let's put Ms. Jenks in courtroom 2 and the interpreter.
Great. Thank you, Judge. See you in a minute.
Okay, and we will be in recess, I guess, until you all come back.
Your Honor, I have position 6 and 16. I submitted waivers for them if
Okay.
Your Honor wants to go forward with them.
Okay, very good, thank you. So position 6 is Ms. Harris.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
For who?
Position 6, Ms. Harris.
Katrina?
Yes.
Second arrest, 2006 trespass, battery / simple battery, family violence. That was Nolo.
Okay. Ms. Arnold?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is requesting a $3,000 surety. And we would just like to make note that she is also a cross defendant with Jesse Lee. He's at position 9 on the calendar. So the state is requesting the $3,000 surety for the battery family violence. We're also asking that there be no further contact with Jesse Lee, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, a one-day anger awareness. And we will be requesting a stay away from the 8327 Milam Loop in Fairburn, Milam spelled M-I-L-A-M. For one of the defendants. However, we will defer to the judge and defense to kind of help us decipher or determine which of the defendants actually has a place to go. Your Honor, here, this incident occurred just yesterday morning at that Milam Loop location. The defendant advised that Mr. Harris attempted to take her phone after a dispute they had where Mr. Harris accused the defendant of cheating and stealing. At some point during that dispute, the defendant was able to scratch Mr. Harris, leaving him with scratches on his eye, chest, and his back. We do believe that the defendant will reoffend, Your Honor, based on the fact that she does have that 2006 conviction for battery. So for this reason, and based on the facts of this case, we are requesting that $3,000 surety with the conditions as stated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Arnold. Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm requesting a signature bond on Ms. Harris' behalf. She expressed that she and Mr. Harris, they are husband and wife. They have been married for the past 15 years. That is the marital home. I am asking for no further violent contact and for her to be able to return back to said residence. She's 34 years of age. She is born and raised in Georgia. She does have family residing here as well. She completed some college and she is currently self-employed. Given the lack of any recent history from Ms. Harris, I believe 2006 is more than a decade away. a decade ago, excuse me. I am asking for a signature bond on her behalf. She is in quarantine, so, and I did also get the express permission for her to waive her presence today. But again, y'all, I'm asking for a signature bond or a bond no more than $500. As we heard, Mr. Harris had grabbed Mrs. Harris's phone. I guess there were some accusations, and she tried to retrieve the phone back. I believe that's how the scratches came into play. But Miss Harris did express that, she wants contact with her husband, and she wants for them both to be able to return back to the residence.
Anything further, Ms. Arnold?
No, Your Honor.
$3,000 signature bond through pretrial, one-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Jesse Lee Harris, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you.
Let's see, who was the other one, Ms. Thomas?
The other one is Miss Haley Thomas, no relation.
Position number 16.
Yes.
Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
$23 total.
Hold on, I'm sorry, hold on 1 second. Ms. Mitchell had requested a breakout room for this. For this case, is there an issue with mental health?
Yes, Your Honor, we believe it is.
All right, Ms. Thomas, would you like to do this in private?
Sure. I am inclined to hear what the state has to say. I didn't have any indication of any mental health, but if the state has any information, then we can do a breakout.
All right, and let me just get the history from Mr. Howard before we go into the breakout room.
23 total. FTAs from 2017, 2019, 2020. In Florida, she got a stalking conviction, 2019. Probation violation, 2014. 2014 ag assault weapon, 2013 battery conviction. Got an arrest out of Arkansas from 2015. It says domestic violence battering. Probation violations from 2021, 2019, 2014. Last arrest was back in November on a probation violation.
All right, thank you. And Spruce, if you can put us into a breakout when you get the moment. All right, we'll be in recess until someone comes back.
Judge Morrow, I don't know if you can hear me, but just so you know, oh, there you are. Okay. Thanks.
I'm here.
Okay.
All right, so this is Mr. Soto,
Yes, Judge.
and let me give, Mr. Howard was in the courtroom, so let me give him a moment to get back to his desk. Oh, there he is. Good afternoon, Mr. Soto. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
We need the interpreter. You're muted, Madam Interpreter.
Buenas tardes, señor Soto. Mi nombre es soy el juez Morrow y esta es la audiencia de la lista de causas estatales de trámite rápido. Estamos conduciendo esta teleaudiencia. Go ahead, Your Honor.
Do you agree to have your case heard by, we're doing this by video today. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Estamos conduciendo esta audiencia para evitar el contagio del virus. ¿Está de acuerdo con que tratemos su caso de esta manera?
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Soto, you've been charged in case 22 CR 000261E with driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, and improper erratic lane change.
Usted, señor Soto, está acusado en el caso 22 CR000261A por manejar bajo incapacitado por el efecto del alcohol y por cambiarse de carril de manera inapropiada.
Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
This is third.
Antecedentes. El tercero.
Last arrest was back in November for DUI.
El último arresto fue en noviembre por manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol.
Case number 21 CR 006373E as in Edward.
006
373E as in Edward.
Y ese fue el caso 21 CR 006373E.
And a 2020 suspended license out of Forsyth County.
Y también una suspensión de licencia en el condado de Forsyth en el 2020.
Is that DUI open? I guess it is. November?
It is, Judge.
I don't know who courtroom E is. I don't know what judge.
It's
that is.
Judge Morrison.
Morrison, okay.
Judge Mincy, Your Honor, is the one who gave the $5,000 signature bond in November on that DUI.
Yeah, but his case is in division, Judge, in front of Judge Morrison.
Okay. Ms. Anderson?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is requesting a $6,000 surety bond on count 1, the DUI charge, and $1,000 surety bond on count 2, the driving improper erratic lane change count, for a total of a $7,000 surety bond with the condition that the defendant not drive and certainly have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to take my time to let the interpreter give that info.
Thank you, madam. He pedido $6,000 de multa por manejar bajo el efecto del alcohol y $1,000 por el cambio inapropiado de carril, un total de $7,000 de fianza bajo garantía. Y se prohíbe que siga conduciendo un vehículo y el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
May I continue with the presentation of the facts, Your Honor?
Yes.
So last night at around 9:25 p.m., the Roswell police were dispatched to a 3-car accident at the intersection of Holcomb Bridge Road and Holcomb Springs Drive in Roswell.
El incidente ocurrió a las 9:25 de la noche, en donde se llamó a la policía de Roswell para que se dirigiera al lugar de Holcomb Bridge y Holcomb Spring Drive. Go ahead, ma'am.
The defendant was driving erratically, Your Honor, and was driving down Holcomb Bridge Road, going down the wrong way against oncoming traffic. This
Entonces,
caused, oh, sorry, go ahead.
el acusado iba manejando de manera errática sobre Holcomb Bridge y ahí iba de contramano.
This caused several cars to swerve to avoid being struck by the defendant. And the defendant did eventually strike 2 vehicles, and medical personnel was required to show up at the scene.
El acusado causó que otros vehículos empezaran a tratar de esquivarlo bruscamente y él golpeó a otros 2 vehículos que iban por el camino, causando la necesidad de llamar a cuidado médico después de eso.
One of the responding officers actually recognized the defendant from that prior DUI in Roswell on 11/14/21.
Uno de los oficiales reconoció a este acusado por el otro caso anterior de manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol del día 14 de noviembre del 2021.
The officers did smell alcohol on the defendant, but were unable to perform a standardized field sobriety test because the defendant was not following directions, and there may have been some English to Spanish translation issues. However, the defendant did believe it to be 2 o'clock in the morning and stated that he only had a couple of beers a few hours before.
El oficial pudo oler un aliento a alcohol, pero no se pudo hacer ningún tipo de prueba de sobriedad debido a que el acusado no podría seguir las indicaciones o direcciones de los oficiales y también se creyó que era por todo la barrera entre el inglés y el español. Esto ocurrió a las 2 de la mañana, en donde el acusado declaró haber bebido 2 cervezas anteriormente.
Prior to being taken to jail, Your Honor, the defendant was taken to North Fulton Hospital for medical clearance.
Y antes de ser llevado a la cárcel, se lo llevó a este acusado al hospital de North Fulton para ser evaluado médicamente.
Your Honor, the state has serious concerns about the risk of reoffense due to the back-to-back timing of these DUIs. The state is further concerned about this defendant being a danger to the community, as 2 people were hit in this DUI, and if another driver hadn't been able to swerve, he would have also been struck. So for these reasons, the state renews its request for a $7,000 surety bond for both counts.
One moment, please. Entonces la fiscalía tiene preocupación acerca de que este acusado vuelva a cometer el mismo delito. Se lo considera un peligro ya que golpeó a 2 personas y otro conductor bruscamente tuvo que esquivarlo para no ser golpeado. Es así que se sugiere una fianza bajo garantía de $7,000.
Nothing further at this time, Your Honor.
Nada más en este momento.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Ms. Jenks?
Yes, thank you, Judge. Mr. Soto is here from Venezuela, Judge. He has been living here for 4 years. He lives with his mother in Alpharetta, Ana Diaz. He works part-time at a restaurant and also full-time as an electrician apprentice with the DNG Electricity Company. I'll let this interpreter.
Thank you. Este acusado es venezolano. Él ha vivido aquí hace 4 años en Alpharetta. Él trabaja a medio tiempo para un restaurante mexicano y trabaja a tiempo completo para una compañía de electricidad llamada DLG Electricity. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. He clearly, well, clearly English is not his first language, and there definitely is a, an issue with communication that I will agree with the state that is actually more profound than what the state has led us to believe. He clearly, does not speak English and probably did not understand much of what the police officers were stating when this incident allegedly happened.
Es claramente que el inglés no es el primer idioma de este acusado, lo que causa dificultades en la comunicación. en la comunicación, más de lo que la fiscalía lo ha demostrado. Él no habla inglés y es por eso en que el oficial no pudo hacer estas pruebas en el lugar del incidente.
With that being said, Judge, we're just asking Your Honor to allow a lower bond than what the state has requested. We're asking for a $2,000 bond on the DUI and a $500 bond for the improper lane change.
Entonces estamos pidiendo que su señoría considere rebajar la fianza que está pidiendo la fiscalía. Pedimos una fianza de $2,000 por el cargo de manejar bajo los incapacitado por el alcohol y $500 por el cambio de carril inapropiado.
Thank you, Ms. Jenks.
That's all, Judge. Thank you.
Ms. Anderson, do you know if there were any conditions on the November DUI signature bond?
No, Your Honor, I looked up all his past history and have provided this court, in addition to what pretrial said, all that we know.
Judge Mar, you're asking about the conditions on his last DUI. He did go.
On the bond order?
On the bond
Yes.
order. I have
Yes.
it right here.
Okay, well, thank you, Ms.
Yes.
Lewis. What are those?
The conditions were no driving except to work or to see in his turning, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol, and ADDT by March the 21st of 2022, court reset date for the notice.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
He was supposed to submit to an ADET, alcohol drug evaluation, by March the 21st of 2022.
Okay. Do we have any indication of whether he did that or not?
No, I don't see nothing in the.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, so given that he was in violation of the other order, it was, what time was it?
9:25 p.m., Your Honor.
Okay, well, I don't know if that's within the time frame of when he should have been working or not. I'm going to go along with the state's recommendation: $6,000 for the DUI, $1,000 for the erratic lane change, making for a total of a $7,000 good bond. No driving, period. So he's lost his driving privileges, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Entonces, creo que yo impongo una fianza que sugirió la fiscalía, $6,000 por el primer cargo y $1,000 por el segundo, un total de $7,000 de fianza bajo garantía. Queda prohibido conducir un vehículo, los beneficios de conducir un vehículo quedan prohibidos para él, y también queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Soto.
Buena suerte, señor Soto.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Madam Interpreter. We appreciate it. Anything, do we need anything
I'm
else?
not sure. Could you please maybe make an announcement for me, sir?
Okay. Is anyone gonna know whether or not they're gonna need Madam Interpreter, Spanish interpreter this afternoon? I think we only have one case left. And I don't even.
Okay. All right. Thank
all
you
right.
so much. Have a good evening, sir.
Thank you. Let's see, is the South Annex there?
I don't see them on, Your Honor. I'll give them a call. Yeah, they on.
Okay, thank you. And that we're done in courtroom 2. Thank you. We appreciate it. Y'all have a good afternoon.
Hi, Judge.
Good afternoon. How you doing today?
Good, how are you? We don't have anybody here. Miss Luckett. Her attorney was Jacoby Hudson on felony. He said that if you can keep the bond at 500, she can make that bond. But she got a 30,000 good bond on felony.
Okay, so let's see. This your case, Ms. Webb?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
What was going to be your bond recommendation?
A $1,000 surety bond, a stay away from the incident location at 813 Hollywood Road, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
And the only charge she has is the possession of marijuana less than an ounce.
Yes, Your Honor. She does have that other felony charge for aggravated assault. That case number is 22CP 205914 that's being prosecuted out of the DA's office.
Okay. Since you all normally null pros these possession of marijuana charges, I am going to give her a signature bond on this $1,000 signature bond through the jail.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right. We appreciate All right, South Annex. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Yeah, we'll see you
Have a good-
next time.
Yes, Judge. Have a good one.
Do the same. Okay. Ms. Bridgewater's in court with me today, so as soon as she is ready, we can go over the county. Is that a yes?
Okay,
Hello?
I take it that it is.
Can you all hear?
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I thought maybe you had fallen asleep, but here we go. Again, the SAP reset date is February the 1st. Position number 1 is being reset further notice with a $3,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 2 is reset further notice with a $2,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 3 is being reset till tomorrow. Position 4 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 5 is reset SAP with a $1,500 total good bond. Position 6 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 7 is reset further notice with a $1,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 8 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 9 is being reset till tomorrow. Position 10 is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. Position 11 is reset further notice with a total $1,300 SOB through the jail. Position 12 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 13 is being reset to the SAP calendar on Tuesday, February the 25th. Does that sound right? Or is that reset to this coming?
January 25th.
January the 25th. I knew it didn't sound right. Okay, so it's being reset to this coming Tuesday. Position 14 is reset further notice with a $1,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 15 is being reset to the SAP calendar with a $7,000 total good bond. Position 16 is Haley Thomas. I didn't get that one.
$3,000 good bond. I've got.
Is that the total? $1,000 good bond on each charge. Position 17 is reset till tomorrow. Position 18 is reset further notice with a $1,500 total SOB through the jail. Position 19 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $4,000 total good bond. And position 20 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Or otherwise.
Oh,
All right.
sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you all. I hope you have a good rest of the day. We'll see
You
you
too,
next
Judge.
time.
Thanks.
Your
Take
Honor.
care.
Thank you, Your Honor.